Okay, yeah, just pop in whenever you're.
Steven, can you share the Discord?
Okay, I will.
Take the slide. Hey everybody, and welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts for tonight, Jake, and with me as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry guy, the man who's not afraid of those spiders, Steven.
Arachnus Deathicus.
Because those spiders are two clay blobs.
I thought you had it. I thought you had it. Had it set to where we do see spiders.
I turned it on.
Ah, okay, I understand. Steven is afraid of spiders. Never mind. So it's Steven,
Yes,
the
he
man
is.
afraid of spiders. Also joining us tonight, his name is Jeremy, but we call him Big Germ. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chortlecast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We usually do this show while we're playing a video game, and tonight we're playing Grounded. So you, if you're watching on the podcast, you're watching live on chortlegames.com, or you also could be watching on Facebook. That's at Chortle Games on Facebook, at Chortle Games on Twitter, and then Chortle_Games on Twitch. So, but we're playing Grounded tonight, so giving it a little bit of a try. I know absolutely nothing that's happening.
Little pro tip, I'm going to tell you right now. The bugs are huge, obviously.
Yeah.
If you look at the blades of grass, you can see if they move. That means that there is a big bug
On the
in that
move.
area.
Interesting. Good,
Yeah.
good to know. Good to know. I see some beetles flying around, but
But
anyway.
ladybugs are nice.
Okay. All right.
Don't hurt ladybugs. They are our friends.
Ladybugs are friends, not food.
Not
good,
food.
Good
Not
to know. Good to know.
Unless if we're really desperate.
But yeah, this is Chortlecast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We got a great show for you tonight. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct, the E3 Nintendo Direct. We're going to kind of rehash through that, talk about it. We're also going to be going over our thoughts on the first two episodes of Loki. So we'll try to, we probably will get a little bit spoilery, but we'll at least do a topic, top level thoughts there to get you through, and then we'll get into some spoilers. But of course,
Have you watched any of that yet?
No, but you guys can go ahead.
okay, well, there you go. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be a good time, going to be a good night. And if you're watching and you're wondering, why did Jake name this Baby's First Podcast? Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't been following along or paying attention to what's been going on here at Chortle Games, my wife...
What are you doing?
Well, what are you doing? My wife, Lee Allison, has been pregnant for the last 9 months, and as of 06/16/2021, she is no longer pregnant because we have had our child. So our little boy, Asher, was born this past Wednesday, I think it was. All the days are really blurry to me right now. I think it was Wednesday.
It's understandable.
It was Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it was Wednesday.
You have
Jeremy,
every reason to lose track of days. I do that on a regular week, so
Right.
you've got the right.
Right. Everything's just a little confusing, right, with all this going on. But he was born Wednesday. He is the sweetest little thing. He's very precious. We love him very much. He will make an appearance on the podcast at some point. So when he comes up, I'll pull a face cam up. So if you're not watching, be sure to have a camera or a monitor ready to go to the live for that in a minute. But anyway, I was just going to kind of talk through kind of how everything went and just kind of give you an update. To start, everything went well. He's perfect. He's good. We actually just went to the pediatrician today. Is that the right word? Pediatrician?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
big child doctor.
In my brain, it sounded right.
Big child doctor.
Big child doctor. Jeremy, we're getting a weird echo from you. I don't know if your chat mic
That's
is maybe
probably the
on.
game thing.
Yeah, I think you need to mute me in game.
I will also mute mine because I don't know if never voice activation never. Were you getting podiatrist and pediatrician confused?
No, it's just as soon as I said it, my brain went, "Is that right? Pediatrician? That can't be right." But anyway, yeah. So we actually went to the pediatrician today, and he said everything looks great. They ran a couple tests. There's every child has this thing called, has the potential to get this thing called jaundice, which is basically like a yellowing of the skin. And so Asher had a little bit of that, and it's been getting better slowly. And so he did a test for that, and said it was all within normal levels. So we're good. That was kind of a worry. We're still waiting on a first poop since the hospital. So those are all the exciting things that are happening in my life right now. I get really excited when a baby poops, but anyway.
You're at that stage in life.
I'm at that stage in life, man. It's just great. But no, it's been amazing. He's been so sweet. We're just happy. I've just got to brag on Lee Allison a little bit. She has been so good. Her epidural like failed during the pregnancy or like the labor. It actually wore off before everything was done.
So it was just that labor went on too long, so the epidural just ran out.
Yeah, the medicine ran out, and it's kind of dumb. Like we were right at the point where we were starting to push. So it could be anywhere from like 2 minutes to 2 hours, which is what it ended up being. And we saw that it had run out of medicine, and so our doctor pulled in the anesthesiologist. I think that's the right word. And
Yes.
was basically like, "Hey, her medicine's wearing off. Can you add her? Can you give her some more?" And the lady was just like, "Nah, just tuck your head in," or I forget exactly her wording, but she was like, "Tuck your chin in and push," and just left. So she did not get any more. It was very frustrating. But anyway, so yeah, by the time Asher was actually here, it had completely worn off. Like she was able to get up and walk to the new room. And all that stuff. So it just was just weird, just crazy. But anyway, what I really want to say is I'm just so proud of her for she pushed through all that and did an amazing job.
That's no small feat.
No, not at all. It was
Well, yeah,
honestly.
Asher has small feet, but yeah.
He does have small feet.
I was going to
true.
say that, and I'm mad that I didn't, because I should have known that you would say it if I did. Well done, Jeremy.
He does have small feet, but anyway, but yeah, I'm just super, super proud of her. And I honestly,
That's awesome.
People always talk about like, oh wow, birth is such an amazing thing. But like, I really did when I was watching her do all this. Obviously I was so, I felt bad that she was in so much pain, but like at the same time, I was just like amazed. I was like, this is happening. She's doing this. Like, this is
Absolute miracle.
yeah. It was so cool. But anyway, some fun stories to tell that have happened so far. He has had his first pee. He's actually peed plenty of times. We're not worried about his peeing. But the first time that he peed will forever be etched in our memories because it was the first time we were changing his diaper. We changed his diaper. It looked a little wet, or I forget if it was wet or if it was just like we were just going to change it just to be sure. Anyway, diaper changing is happening. And my mother-in-law, who was helping us out, she was there, and she's like, "Oh, I don't think he went yet. But if you hold his legs like this, that sometimes helps them, go to the restroom and do all that." So I did that, and literally as soon as I did that, pee starts coming, and it's coming right from my face because I've got both of his legs in. I got one leg in each hand, and I'm centered. Right, I'm right on point with him, and he's just started peeing, and it came right for me, and I luckily ducked and avoided most of the damage. But of all the people in the room, I should have been the most prepared for that. but I wasn't. So it was kind of a rough deal there. But the other funny thing with that is we had just gotten his, you know how babies, they ink your foot, right? And as a baby, and you get that and you have that like in your memory book or whatever. We did that, and he peed right onto that. Like that's kind of where I pointed his wiener as that was happening. I accidentally pointed it straight to that. So Brody in the chat over there is saying, "Don't worry, buddy. One day you'll get pee all over." By the way, thanks for joining in, Kaylin, Jared. Glad to have you guys here. But yeah, anyway, that's kind of my stories for Asher. I'm gonna see if I can go call up Lee Allison. I'm going to just take a peek out. But we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct throughout the podcast. We're going to go over what we did there. And so, Jeremy, have you gotten to watch the Nintendo? Well, you watched it with us, right? You were on.
Yeah, I watched it with you guys.
Here, look,
I was in the chat, but I just wasn't
right.
active.
I remember you got real excited about Metroid. I'm excited to hear your thoughts on all of that.
Oh my gosh. So excited.
I'm gonna poke my head out and go see if Lee Allison can bring up. Oh, never mind. Here he is. The star has arrived. All right, everybody.
I'm back now.
Steven, you're back just in time. We're about to get Asher on camera. Give me that baby.
Give me that baby.
This is Asher, everybody. He's in his new. He's in a new.
Mad. Hey.
He's in a new outfit.
Hey, because we peed on our other one.
We peed on our other one. I was just talking about your peeing. So this is Asher, everybody. Say hey, dude. We just had a bottle, just peed. So this is baby's first podcast.
You know, I said this when you first showed me. I didn't say this to you, I don't think, but he is the cutest under 24 hours old baby I've ever seen. Because normally they look gross and like aliens and like they haven't grown into the fact that they exist yet. But Asher has been cute like the whole time. So well done.
Well, it's well done to Lee Allison. She did all the hard labor. I just kind of picked him up once he was done and had a great time. So, oh goodness. So he's a little fussy right now, so we're gonna pass him off here in a little bit. But anyway, oh yeah, give him a cry. This is baby's first podcast. There you go.
It's crazy how much he looks like y'all.
It's really funny. He has Lee Allison's lips for sure. That's no problem. He's got my hair. He's got my eyes. We think we don't have a hair color yet, but he's cute. He's real cute. Hey.
Come here, Sunshine.
Alrighty. Everybody, give a round of applause to Lee Allison. She did a great job. Thank you for bringing him up. That's the mama right there. All right. Oh, I died. That's great. All right. So yeah, there you go.
Dehydration.
I died from dehydration. That's all right. No big deal. Baby was more important.
One more time. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. All right. So let's jump into some of our news for the day. We've gotten all the fun stuff out of the way now. I just straight up respawned. That's great. All right, Jeremy and Steven. Let's begin talking about the Nintendo E3 Direct and all the fun goodies that happened there.
No.
Okay, Steven doesn't want to talk about that. Never mind. Let's do something else now. Just top level thoughts. What did you guys think about the Direct? Did it save E3 at all for you guys? No. Where are you at?
No, I wouldn't say it saved E3.
Yeah,
this was the worst E3. I stand by.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
I still don't know if I'd say it was the worst, but it's probably the worst we've had in a while. But I've seen a lot of traffic on Twitter recently talking, with several other people saying things like that. And a lot of people have just been like, saying stuff like, when we say, I guess what I'm trying to say is when we say that, I say it understanding that, yes, there's been a pandemic. There are lots of reasons why this was a lackluster E3. But it doesn't negate that it was a lackluster E3, and I'm so glad and excited that we got what we got. But it wasn't
totally
anything
understandable.
Yeah.
That things happen, right?
Right.
And they did. But that being said, the pandemic didn't force them to make an entire day of the lineup be about just be like TED Talks with a bunch of people who we don't care about talking about inclusion and diversity in gaming. Like, they didn't have to show up with that, but they did, and they thought that was a good idea, and it wasn't. And it was just lacking. I mean, Bethesda and Microsoft were one conference, so you lacked them being able to show up on their own individually, which they had a great conference, but it was only one conference.
Right.
And Nintendo was fine. Nintendo always brings it at least a little bit, and it was just kind of on par with what Nintendo normally does. So
yeah,
it was good, but they're always good.
Right.
And this was the worst one.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty rough. But I guess we are.
It's understandable. But
yeah,
it's still
understandable. So Jeremy, you kind of agreed though, just kind of a lackluster showing from Nintendo as well, or did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
I mean, yes and no.
Yeah,
we saw a lot of the stuff that everybody really wanted to see, but a lot of the stuff was lacking content or like new information.
Right.
So.
But Metroid Dread, my dude.
But Metroid freaking Dread.
I mean, I'm
beyond excited for it.
My whole thing
something
is
that Jeremy is a fact about Jeremy that I feel like hasn't been talked about a lot is that he is a huge Metroid fan.
Huge Metroid. Any like old school side scroller like that. Absolutely awesome. Axiom Verge. Super good. If you haven't played it, I definitely suggest you go play it. Any like Metroidvania style game, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I'm glad you got that. I got Breath of the Wild 2, some new gameplay.
I got that too. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's all good stuff. So
that was really exciting too.
What did I get?
Yeah, Steven, I don't know what you got. You didn't get anything.
Solid high five.
So I will circle back. Right. I know. Jeremy is going to be really excited about Metroid. I'm really excited about Breath of the Wild. So I will leave those to the end. But let me go through everything else that was announced quickly. You guys stop me if you guys want to talk about it. But they announced a new WarioWare game. It's called WarioWare Get It Together. It features 2-player co-op, kind of wacky mini games. All right, cool. Mario Party Superstars. I'm actually excited about this. This is kind of a collection of Mario Party games with boards from different previous games, mini games.
Who are you gonna play it with?
I don't know. It's one of Lee Allison's favorite games. So she loved Mario Party 8. We didn't have as much fun with Mario Party 10, but maybe this would be a good one to just have on hand for when folks come over and
it's a good idea,
right?
But I am just strongly against anything Mario Party because I hate that game.
Yeah, understandable.
But yeah, I can understand. It's good for people who enjoy masochism and tearing up friendships.
Which is worse, BR or Mario Party?
Honestly, Mario Party's worse because I can get myself killed in VR.
Wow.
Look, if I'm just like, I'm not feeling this, I can get myself killed. Mario Party is a commitment.
I mean, you can just quit. You can just be like, guys, this is going to ruin our friendship.
We have to stop.
And people are like,
Steven. And it's worse to start a BR and immediately know that you're going to quit anyway. So.
Yeah, it's rough.
I'm just trying to justify, man. It's cool. I'm just messing with you.
That was a great question, Jeremy. I wouldn't have thought to ask that, but that is a great question to ask of Steven. So, all right. So we had Mario Party Superstars. I'm excited about that one. That comes on Switch on October 28th. Of course, the show started with the Tekken Smash Brothers Ultimate announcement. He tossed a bunch of people off a cliff. Of course, he couldn't kill Kirby because no one can kill Kirby.
Great.
Yeah,
almost useless.
Yeah.
pretty much.
I think it was a fine announcement. Like it's one of those that I'm not upset about, but it doesn't
it's
do
not
anything
something
for
that anybody
me.
was like looking forward to, though. It
Right.
doesn't feel like it's one of those things that they're like, hey, we have this really cool thing, like a crossover with Street Fighter, and it's like,
Right.
yeah, but who asked for that?
Yeah. I feel like they should know by now to gauge like a certain level of announcement, like, and maybe that's what they said. Maybe they said, hey, we got Breath of the Wild in this. Who you want to add again? Oh yeah, he's not a big deal. Throw him in. Some people will be excited about it. Some people won't. It wasn't like a Banjo-Kazooie moment or anything like that, where
Right.
a lot of people were like, oh my gosh, this is the thing we all talked about. Like, what if? And now it's happened. But anyway, we had Shin Megami Tensei 5's release date is now official. It's coming on November 12th. Kind of a cool
I'm very curious to
anime
see
game.
if that does well.
Yeah.
Because that's such an obscure game.
Yeah. I forget, they showed like a trailer that was kind of like, it explained that it's a guy from our world, but he gets transported to another world, and when he's in the new world and he's got like his long flowing hair, or her, I forget if it was a boy or girl, but anyway, had this crazy long hair, and like they had like a light beam sword that came out of their hand. Like, it looked cool. Like, I don't know that I'm in yet or invested in it, but I'm definitely curious about the look.
Did you ever try Persona?
I haven't tried it yet.
Okay. Atlas, I think is the name of the developer, did Persona. They did SMT.
Right.
SMT was kind of the precursor to Persona.
Right.
But if you couldn't get into Persona, I don't know how you could get into SMT.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's I just haven't given Persona a solid try yet.
Right.
That's my problem with Persona. But anyway, then to continue on, we got Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania remakes of the first two games. I personally am a little bit excited about this. I don't know that I'll get it, but I got some serious nostalgia watching, because this is weirdly enough, Super Monkey Ball is one of the only games that my brother and I
You're actually hurting me.
actually enjoyed playing together. So I am very curious about that. I might get it. We got the Advanced Wars 1 and 2 remake.
I guess that's
or
what was for me.
remasters. I'm sorry, remasters. So yeah, but didn't you say
And
it
they're
looked bad?
charging $60.
I was about to say, didn't you look at it and go, ugh, no.
I do not like the art style.
Yeah.
Because at least with Fire Emblem, the art style matured a lot. Where like with Three Houses now we have like, it basically looks like an anime. It went from that kind of pixely style to anime. This went from like pixely style to like
Chibi.
like a weird cartoon chibi kind of thing. Yeah. It did not age. That was not that it did not mature. It regressed.
It did not mature. It regressed. It was rough. It was a weird deal happening. But yeah, I'm sure there were other people excited about that.
That they're charging $60 for it.
It's Nintendo,
because those are two Game Boy Advanced games from over like 15 years ago.
Yeah. Let's see. Life is Strange, or they showed Life is Strange, which that was hilarious because they showed like a cartoon.
Angst is strange.
Life is angst.
Life is angst.
Life is angst. Yeah.
Emotions, the game.
My emotions.
That was so funny because they said like an emotion tagline in their their little dialogue beforehand, and then it showed like a cartoon style game. And I jokingly said, I was like, oh, I thought this was going to be Life is Strange. Ha, ha, ha. And then sure as shit, it was Life is Strange. Yeah. Just in this weird art style. And it didn't, like, what's so weird is, like, that art style didn't even, like, stick. Like, that was just kind of an anime, or not even an anime, just kind of an animated intro of, like, hey, these two games are coming to the Switch. Whoop-de-doo. Right. But anyway, just kind of funny, and I just love that I called that and it ended up being true.
Thanks, Jake. You put that on us. Thanks.
I know, I'm sorry. Then we got a Guardians of the Galaxy. It's coming to the Switch. So we saw not as much gameplay, obviously, as what they showed at Square Enix, but that's coming to the Switch, which is crazy.
It's going to be a cloud game.
Right. It is going to be a cloud game. It's definitely, me personally, I'm not going to play it on the Switch. That would not be where I want to play it, but hey, if the Switch is all you have, you can play this, and I hope you get to and enjoy it. We got
It's nice for the inclusion. That's pretty much it.
yeah, exactly.
Definitely going to be better on a console.
Right. We got Mario Golf Super Rush that we got that it's going to get some post-launch content. They showed a Mario Odyssey New Donk City course, I guess you could say.
Oh God.
So that's exciting. I'm excited about that game. I can't wait to play it. Steven, I want you to play it with me at some point, but we'll see when that can happen. Let's see. They got the Worms Rumble that's coming to Nintendo Switch. Astra Ascending is coming to Nintendo Switch. 2 Point Campus, Just Dance, Crucian Blast, which is like a racing game. Dragon Ball Z Karat or Karat.
Kakarot.
Thank you. Danganronpa. We had a whole. I remember that was a longer trailer. I felt like.
Which one? Sorry,
Danganronpa.
Danganronpa. That
Yeah,
just and maybe it was just because we tuned out at that point. But it felt really long. We got Strange Brigade.
If you ever watched the series by Game Grumps on Danganronpa, it's actually an interesting game.
Okay, I need to
It's
check
like
it
a
out.
detective style, like murders happening in this high school, and you have to like solve the mysteries
Oh, okay. Well,
by collecting clues and stuff.
I do like mysteries and solving things.
You'd like the gameplay looks really fun, but I would definitely check it out. They did like a full playthrough.
Okay, I need to do that. We got Strange Brigade, Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods DLC. That's happening.
Strange Brigade would never play it on the
Strange Brigade.
Switch, but it is such an underrated game.
It really
And
is.
by underrated, I mean no one knows it exists.
We
It's
do.
very fun.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. That's really all that matters.
It's like someone took The Mummy, like the Brendan Fraser movie, and made a Saturday morning cartoon out of it, which I know that existed, but it's like
mixed with Sniper Elite.
yeah, made by
It's
the
by
people
those-
who did Rebellion. It's great. It's fun.
Yeah, might need to try it. Let's see.
Probably not on Switch though.
Probably not. Probably not. I think I said Doom Eternal, Fatal Frame, and then Mario plus Rabbids. Sparks of Hope made it a little appearance. But let's get to the meat. Let's get to the
Sparks of
things
Nope.
we really want to talk about. Jeremy, why don't we start with Metroid? That came first in the show. We got the announcement for Metroid 5 being named Metroid Dread. It's the first. Wait, now let me back this up here. New game.
Was Dread
making-
already
19
attached
years.
to the title, or was that something they slapped on?
It's
with this?
something new.
They
This is
slapped.
the first time that they've announced that that it was Dread.
Yeah, they opened with Metroid. I think 5 is what it said.
Yeah.
And I remember being confused because I was expecting Metroid Prime 4. I didn't understand.
They're still working on Prime 4, but
Right.
it's just a different development company.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's a 2D Metroid game. It's the first 2D Metroid in 19 years. So it's got this really cool 3D or not 3D, but like it's a 3D character moving in 2D.
It's 2.5.
Thank you, 2.5. I could not.
Is that actually what it's called? 2.5.
Yeah.
That's going to help me in so many descriptions.
I could not think of what
It's
what you
2.5.
call that. But anyway, it looks really cool.
The characters are 3D, but you're only moving left and right and up, so it's 2D movement in a 3D platformer.
Thank you. I did not know. I couldn't think of how to verbalize that, but
I got y'all. That's what I'm here for.
that's what you're here for, Jeremy.
That's it.
It looks great. The art style's really cool. There's these cool robot. Almost want to call them zombies because they're scary. But these kind of robot monster things chasing her around.
It just reminds me of Gladys from Portal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see that.
But it's an interesting concept that they're going with.
Yeah.
It's not really something that they kind of played with it a little bit in Metroid Fusion. If you guys haven't played that, highly recommend. But the like evil boss in Metroid Fusion is your Samus suit. Like
Ooh.
you get infected with an X parasite, and they have to surgically remove your suit, and your suit like breaks free, and the X parasite takes it over, and it's running around this like space station.
That's
so you're constantly like having to dodge the suit. So
that's freaky.
With Dread, it was kind of it kind of seems like the same thing where you
Yeah.
always have this like dread of running into this robot and having to constantly like run away from it.
It's
So
an interesting mechanic.
Jeremy, you are by far the I would say the one most excited about this.
Yeah.
What give us your thoughts. What do you think? Are you excited? What do you
Oh, I'm ridiculous. Like I said, well, like I just explained, it's similar to Metroid Fusion, and Metroid Fusion is like a direct sequel to Super Metroid on SNES.
right.
So it kind of, well, so far it looks like and kind of feels like that it's going to be a sequel to Metroid Fusion, which would be cool, but I doubt that they would. I don't know how they would tie the stories together, I guess I should say. But I'm interested to see where they take it for sure. But I've beaten those games like 10 times each, so. That's why I was like, when I was in chat, I was like, blah, 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 I can't wait.
Yeah, Jeremy was
crazy.
very excited. I really liked the style of it. I'm not a big fan traditionally of 2D, but I'm looking forward to maybe giving it a try. I'm just excited. I want to get into Metroid because I don't have any of that in my background. I guess that's kind of a hole in my
Super
gaming.
Metroid's on Switch for free.
Is it really? Okay, I need to.
Yeah,
I need to
that's
try
part
that.
as part of the like Super Nintendo Online.
Yeah.
Yep, it's
Well,
really good on the Switch too.
I need to try that out. I need to try it out. But yeah, very exciting stuff. I'm glad you got that, Jeremy, and that you have you have your thing.
I'm so excited. If they make a Metroid like themed Switch, I'm probably gonna buy one.
Ooh, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
I like the what did you think of the suit color change, Steven? Or not Steven, Jeremy? Did that do anything for you? Was that exciting or? I thought it looked cool.
It kind of seemed like. Obviously, it's along the same lines of every Metroid game where you start out as like the base suit, and then you have to constantly upgrade it as you like get new items or kill enemies and gain their abilities or whatever.
Right.
But I'm excited to see kind of the origin of that suit.
Right.
Whether they actually like explain it or they're just like, "Hey, you're on a new space station now, so they gave you a new suit."
New suit, new station, new suit.
New suit, new me, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. That's how it works.
So I'm definitely interested to see the origin of it. I like the suit. It's very it's similar
America.
to the light suit from Prime. I think it's Prime 2 Echoes actually. But the white suit definitely looks good.
Yeah.
But and the art style looks really neat for it. So.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It looks good. It looks really good.
Yeah.
All right, and then they closed the show with Breath of the Wild 2. They showed some new gameplay. I guess that's not entirely true. They had a little Zelda section. They had a lot of other announcements that were killing me. They talked about Skyward Sword again. They announced that they are making a Game & Watch that's going to have some Zelda games on it, which is cool.
1, 2, and 3, I think it was.
Yeah. That's all fine and dandy, but it was just kind of like, okay, all right, come on, let's get to what we want here. So I won't focus on those, but to talk about,
I will say the way they announced the Game & Watch was kind of cool. He was just like, "Hey, for all you classic gamers, this is neat," and then like went on.
yeah,
It's not like he sat there and dwelled on it and was like, "It's gonna have this and this and this and this and this."
Yeah.
I was panicking. I was just like, he's not going to talk about it.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
not going to talk about it. He's going to say, "Oh, we know you're all very excited," and I was going to be like, I threw my hat at one point. I think, like I was very stressed. But anyway, they finally showed off some new gameplay, or some not even new, just they showed off some gameplay of Breath of the Wild 2, and it looks
Man, oh man.
it looks really good. It doesn't look much different from Breath of the Wild, which for me that's fine. I wanted.
Yeah.
I've always said from the get go, like I hope they make a game,
direct sequel.
yeah, just like a direct sequel with the
Yeah.
same stuff. But obviously they kind of blew our minds with all this. You're falling from the sky, right? And there's all these like floating islands, and it almost feels like Skyloft from Skyward Sword. It almost feels like there's some direct connection there. Link has this new gauntlet thing, Guardian Gauntlet, that is on his. It looks like it's infecting his arm. Even
Can you draw it away, Jeremy?
Yeah.
very, very cool stuff. He has a flamethrower at one point. It basically just looks like they took Breath of the Wild and improved it and added a ton more. So there's a lot of questions.
Nintendo's actually listening to people?
What? I know. It's crazy. I'm very, very excited about it. A lot of people are theorizing that you're actually playing as Ganon in the scenes where you're falling from the sky and Link has long hair for whatever reason. Me personally, I don't think that's what's happening. I think that's just an outfit that you get. And just like with a lot of the outfits in the game, his hair changes based on what headpiece you have. But, you know, I'm all
being
about
a direct sequel. It makes sense that his hair is longer. So
right. Well, I don't even think that has anything to do with it. I think really more than anything, that's how it goes when when you're changing outfits with him. So, but I don't know. We'll see. I'd love to be wrong. I think that would be a really interesting take to see the story from Ganon's perspective somehow. But anyway, I'm super excited for it. I don't know what else to talk about. After we saw it, I kind of did a frame by frame analysis. It's not super in depth or anything, but if you just want to get my initial reactions and kind of looking through everything, you can go back and see that there. Yeah, Brody was there. Brody and I we were freaking out. We were just having a great time. So it was good. It was really good. All right. I think that's it from Nintendo. Kind of like you guys said, all in all, it's like, okay, we got Breath of the Wild. For me, that's all I needed to see. But it was just kind of...
There was for sure some solid announcements, but it could have been stronger.
Yeah. You expect definitely from their E3 Direct for it to just be like banger after banger after banger after banger. Yeah. And this wasn't that. And that's fine. We've been through a hell of a year, but it's just kind of strange. Jeremy, if you want to cut this tree down that I'm stuck in, that would be a huge help for me. But
this has to be one of the worst gameplay experiences we've provided visually on podcast.
Yes, it absolutely
is. The first little bit was like a middle school dance where everyone was just kind of standing around and no one was going to do anything. Because the reason I've been kind of absent during this podcast is because my food showed up like right after we started, and so I had to get that. And of course, it was seafood, like crab legs and everything. So I've got to figure out how to eat that while we're doing podcasts. It's just been a mess.
It's been a whole mess. I had a baby come in. It was great. All sorts of stuff's happening.
Hectic podcast.
That's all right. It's baby's first podcast. It's just lots of stuff happening. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Loki. Jeremy, I know you haven't seen Loki yet, so I'm sorry. We're probably gonna.
No, you're good.
I mean, it's
honestly, there's not really anything yet to
spoil per se.
Yeah, like it's not like WandaVision where
Jake, you can pick up your backpack too when you die.
Yeah.
I'll come find it. I'll come find it eventually.
I'm standing on it right here.
Okay. Yeah, I'm taking this wood. I'm taking this wood back or grass back.
I don't think that knowing literally everything beat by beat that happens in Loki would even harm the experience of watching these first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
No, because that's why I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah. It's been very good though so far. I'm a little worried. But
okay,
it's been very
all right.
good.
I want to hear about the worry, but yeah. So top level, Steven just said he liked it. I'm really enjoying it as well. I think I'm enjoying this better than not WandaVision, but better than Falcon and Winter Soldier. Thank you. I think I like it.
Falcon and Winter Soldier was a joke compared to
I watched 1 episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier and I was like, yeah, this isn't for me.
This show actually feels like it's doing something important and not trying to make me feel bad.
Well, it's very, very cool. I love the whole time variant authority and everything that's happening there. Jeremy, how do I drop things? I just watched you drop things. Great. Thank you.
Yeah. Any buttons that you need are on the right side there next to whatever you have equipped.
Okay, perfect. But yeah, all right. Well, let's talk about it. I've really enjoyed it. Steven, you said you got some concerns. Why don't we just start there? What are you're concerned about where it's going, or
it's mainly just concerned about where it's going. So I don't know if now is the good time to talk about that, because a lot of it has to do with
let's talk
speculation.
Let's talk through kind of the first episode. The first episode did a lot to just kind of lay the groundwork of, hey, here's where we are in the timeline. Here's what you're looking at, and here's what's happening. So it was a great kind of just let's get a started episode. And they had a lot to cover. Like there was a lot to explain in the video or in the first episode. So they explain the Timekeeper Authority or the Time Variant Authority, how there's a sacred timeline that they're defending from branching timelines. Obviously, Loki from Endgame was a variant, which is a huge plot hole, but like I'm cool with just moving on from it. But they kind of explain it in the first episode of like, well, the Avengers were supposed to go back in time and you messed that up. And it's like, what? No, he did. Like they messed up and he just left. It's not his fault that he stepped away. But
if they don't reveal that is a reason for them thinking that, like the fact, like maybe that the TVA is actually the villain and they are just kind of taking Loki for a ride with that whole thing, then I'm going to be annoyed, because they're like, you can be tongue in cheek about it, be like, oh yeah, the Avengers were supposed to do that, obviously, but come on.
I do think there is going to be something like what you're saying of like, they explained it that way, but really there's not. Like really what justifies the timeline as it is. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say. Like there's not really a sacred timeline per se. There's just the timeline that is, and they're just defending random choices. Does that make sense? Like what I'm trying to say there?
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. First episode, they explain all that, kind of get us in. I thought it was good. Again, I love the TVA's like style, and everything that they've done there. It feels very Control-esque.
Yeah, something about the 1960s. It just that's like it's a big thing to make that aesthetic for your creepy organization that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you're otherworldly. And obviously this Loki kind of gets to quickly experience what his life was supposed to be like. We saw some kind of highlights from his life, like Odin telling him that he loved his sons, and he sees Thor kind of tell him that he always loved him and, wished he was always around or whatever. Anyway, just a lot of all the highlights from Loki's story. And then obviously his death from Thanos. And then it's kind of weird. Like I understand they had to do it that way, and I think they did it as good as they could, but it feels fast to me. Like, okay, he didn't become that Loki still. But at least he kind of knows some of the things that Loki did and can kind of think differently from there. But anyway, he sees that, oh, hey, I kind of become better in my life. Maybe I should be better now. And then he, signs on to help with the Timekeepers. They're tracking.
With massive air quotes around the word help.
Help, yeah. He's helping them track down another variant Loki, who is the villain. And I love that the villain is another Loki. That was really, really cool. And it was funny, as soon as they showed in that first episode the variant Loki, or the evil variant Loki, I should say, and it was just a hooded figure, I looked at Lee Allison and I said, I bet it's a girl Loki. And she was just like, oh my gosh, that would be so cool. And so sure enough, we got we in the second episode we got that reveal, right? They spent most of the episode tracking her down. They finally found her, and she ends up bombing the sacred timeline, creating tons of branches all at once so that the TVA can't catch up to all of it. And then Loki, our Loki, actually runs away. I don't know if he's technically chasing after her, if he went somewhere different than she did, but he split from the TVA. Lots of other interesting things happened in that episode. Like they go to, I forget the place that blew up with a volcano. Gosh, I'm blanking on the name. Pompeii. They went to Pompeii. Loki had this theory that if there's an apocalyptic event happening, you can technically you can do whatever you want there because it's going to get wiped on its own. So the TVA is not going to see you, which was really cool. I thought that was an interesting way to do that. I liked all the apocalypses that they talked about. Like she was hiding in a future apocalypse. And it was really funny. I don't know, Steve, if you noticed this, but when they were looking at it, they were like, oh yeah, a hurricane. And I think it was Alabama, right? And they were like, yeah, this hurricane is I want to say it was a level 10 apocalyptic event. And Lee Allison was like, wait a minute. Ragnarok was like an 8. You're telling me this hurricane is a 10? What are you talking? Like, there's no way. And like, it looked like a pretty bad hurricane, but still, it was like, I don't know if this is a 10. Like, let's maybe dial that back. But
I thought they were using the term apocalypse very fast and loose.
Yeah.
Because like apocalypse, like end of a world, end of all things. Like, what are you talking about?
Right. Yeah.
And so that's weird. I didn't notice that they put those two so separately because it was just a bad storm.
Yeah, it was a bad storm versus an entire planet. Or I guess, is Asgard a planet? I don't know if it's a planet, but
it's a world.
It's a world, a realm, a whole realm's destruction versus a Walmart in Alabama getting destroyed, by a hurricane. So, but whatever, whatever you got to classify. I thought that was really cool. So, talking about girl Loki though, a lot of people I'm seeing think she's going to end up being Enchantress, which I think would be really cool. But I kind of hope they stick with like, nope, she's just literally Loki. Like that's who she is. She's not going to become anyone more than that. Maybe she'll get the name Enchantress, but she still is a variant Loki. I don't know how they're going to handle that or what that's gonna do. But anyway. Steven, I've talked a lot. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking through the show? I know we mentioned your concerns. What are you thinking right now?
Really, I'm just kind of worried that we're headed towards a crap. To me, it seems pretty evident that the end result of this is that the multiverse is going to happen, obviously, where like,
well, we've said that before.
Right. But those times was just because of little hints and everything. But when they literally pull out, Chekhov's PowerPoint presentation in the lobby, and Miss Minutes is like, "Oh, we used to have this a bunch of timelines, and there was a great multiversal war, and then we had the sacred timeline." It's like, okay, so that's what's going to happen again.
Do you think that's what's going to happen in this, or do you think that's just kind of pointing to what's coming in the movies?
I think it's just going to point to what we're headed towards, because I've said ever since Endgame happened. That a Secret Wars type event is what they need, because that's their way to bring over characters from the Marvel canon that aren't MCU canon without breaking them. For example, Magneto, and the mutants. Right now, there is very little they can do to cleanly implement mutants in the MCU because they have to have been around.
Right.
Because like Magneto, you cannot have him without the Holocaust. That is such a crucial aspect of who he is. That it's like, well, how do you do that when the timeline wouldn't make sense? You make it from a different timeline where mutants exist, and you make it to where there is a large collide because the timeline gets broken. Then there's a multiverse, and then there's a few movies that have to do with that. Then there's a culmination in a Secret Wars event where the timelines collide, and you have people get lost in the people die in the collision, but you also end up with
new characters,
people with new characters, like
a new MCU.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like Black Widow, for example, if you wanted to get Black Widow back,
boom,
just make it to where her movie is actually a different timeline.
Right. I so think that not to get into
Gamora.
Like Gamora too, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Not to like get into Black Widow is gonna, not to get too deep into Black Widow theories, but I really think and have thought for a while now that is absolutely what's gonna happen. That she is going to be in a different timeline, and this is going to be how she comes back somehow. But that might just be wishful thinking. I don't know if she wants to get out of the MCU game or where she's at. But
yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with her. It's been hard to gauge where she's at, because with the others it's been kind of easy to see that they're like ready to retire or whatever. But I don't know with her.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and it's also been interesting. It's interesting again talking about the pandemic, and her movie's been delayed so much, but it feels like this is the perfect place for it to launch if this is going to be true. Like, let's say Loki ends with, yes, the multiverse is created. This is going to lead directly into Multiverse of Madness. All that blah blah blah. All that's going to happen right after this. But also this Black Widow movie that's in a different timeline. So this is her coming back. What a better time to do that than right now. But that also kind of makes me think that it's not going to be that. Like that it's not going to be connected at all, because this movie was supposed to be out almost years ago at this point. So why would it connect so well?
You remember after Endgame, because one of my big hangups about that movie was the fact that we time jump how many years forward? Like 5?
5, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And thinking like that's a big deal, because they never corrected that.
Right.
And so my thing was, wow, this is a really good opportunity for them to take this time, because Marvel likes to make the movies happen alongside our timeline.
Right.
And so my thought was they could totally make it to where these other movies that are on deck up until they catch up to us year-wise could be alternate timelines.
Yeah.
That way the MCU can just pick up 5 years later in the whatever Earth you want to call it. Let's just say 616, because that's the prime timeline in the comics. But let's say that the MCU is 616. You do all these different movies, like even Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Eternals, like all these movies with characters where it's like, where have these people been this whole time?
Right.
Make it to where it's a different timeline, and then catch up to 2023 where there's a multiverse event.
Right.
It just made a lot of sense. And then COVID happened, and it was like, this kind of makes even more sense. So what do we do?
Yeah, and I wonder if that's why they've held it back so much, because there's been kind of on and off points where it's like, oh, well, look, things are, theaters are open again. Like, why haven't they launched it? It's like, well, we're waiting. So, like, I do wonder if they said, oh, hey, well, why don't we just wait? Why don't we just wait? Loki will be a perfect place to put this next to, and then did that. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see where it goes and all that. But yeah, I'm loving Loki. I can't wait to see more of it. And I hope it continues to be really good. So
I'm worried that where we're going to end up is
nothing.
Hey, multiverse is here, and we're never going to resolve that. So enjoy your movies that have absolutely no connectivity whatsoever. Multiverse, yay! Like
that's just going to be the end all beat all of explanations,
right? And it's like, if that's your explanation, nothing matters.
Right.
Because
you could literally do anything and be like, oh, retcon.
Right.
Yeah.
And like with Endgame, so many plot holes in that film. And the plot holes were to me were louder than the emotion that they tried to force me to feel. Because they could have just made another Tony. They could have just brought another Tony from another timeline. Go to a timeline. There's 6 billion, 16 million, however many timelines. Go to one where everyone's dead but Iron Man. It exists. There's infinite possibilities.
Right.
And be like, hey, Tony, come in here. You're about to die over here, but come on. You could be the new Tony.
Come on. You
Like,
Well, he's not one to make the sacrifice play.
there's so many things they could have done, and it made it to where, to me, the emotion was not justified because it was lost because they were treating me like I was stupid, and then I didn't have a basic comprehension of time and like logic.
Right.
And so with this, as soon as as I had this conversation with Anna, and I think, oh shoot, what I ended up saying was, yeah, that worked out really well for X-Men. Because that's exactly what they did. They took a who cares about timelines approach to their films, and they progressively got worse twice. So I don't know.
So
I'm cynical towards Marvel right now.
Your concern is distant, right? Like you're saying, hey, at the end of Multiverse of Madness, or like whatever we're building to, let's call it Avengers New Game or whatever. Whatever we're building to, if that doesn't result in a secret war or some sort of, hey, we're fixing the timeline, all the Avengers are coming together, we're gonna fix this thing. If that doesn't happen, you're gonna be
to me, it doesn't have to go my way,
right?
Because I've learned by now that I should just stop expecting them to have common sense. Because I can have good ideas.
To bite down hard and push.
That's right. Bite down hard and push.
Like I don't need that to be what happens. But that being said, my big thing really is just things need to matter.
Right.
In these movies. The thing that was the big draw for me, because I wasn't a Marvel person before the MCU. I was DC.
Right.
I read the DC comics, never read the Marvel comics. But what Marvel captured me with was the idea of interconnectivity. And saying, like, in Captain America Winter Soldier, I wonder what Tony's doing. Even though he's not in the movie, you know that his existence is still there.
Right.
You want to see a giant spider, Jake?
No, I don't.
No.
It's right here.
No.
Oh God! Oh God!
Well,
behind us.
To get to. Oh Jesus! Sorry. That was wow. Ooh. Sorry.
I had to say something.
Sorry. Oh man. Sorry. R.I.P. headphone listeners. Oh my God! I was not expecting a horror game to turn out of this.
This is the scariest game ever made.
Gee whiz, that came out of nowhere.
Get him.
Lord. What I was going to say was, my worst fear for this is that
Go get Jake.
For Loki is that they're going to have the secret war in this and then it'd be over. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Loki fixed the timeline. Woohoo, we're done. Like, it's all good. And then we never get to anything bigger. I feel like they've done such a good job so far, again, with it all being kind of, oh, what are they doing? Is this, how is this all going to come together?
Right. I would be shocked if they opened up the multiverse can of worms and like they did that whole multiversal war and they resolved it in this show.
Yeah.
I would be absolutely shocked and so disappointed.
Well, and that's what I'm afraid of, because I mean, I think it's only 6 episodes, but like she already bombed the timeline. Like I'm sure this week's episode is just going to kind of hash that out of like, well, this is what that looks like. And now there's all these branching timelines, and we'll probably visit a bunch of them. And I'm sure they'll be almost similar to the What If series that they're working on, like oh, wow, look at this timeline where this didn't happen right, and blah, blah, blah. And like, that'll be really cool. But I just don't know where that, I don't know. I don't see how they can't resolve this. I don't know. They have to resolve it, right? Like, something has to happen. Something has to give.
I think it's probably going to result in Loki overthrowing the TVA.
Yeah.
And just being like, hey, I'm the god of mischief. I'm a chaotic person. So let's get chaotic and make it to where there's multiverse now.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah. I could see that happening too. Cause what I was saying is earlier of like, excuse me, of my theory of the TVA is there's no really sacred timeline, right? It's just, oh yeah, this is the timeline we're in. You know, that they just, whatever randomly happens that the timekeepers like.
There's two.
Whatever happens that the timekeepers like,
I'm dead.
That's what stays. That's what sticks
Do you
around.
think the timekeepers even exist?
I don't know, because they keep talking about it. Like, Loki keeps questioning everybody. Like, oh, well, how do you know they're real if you've never seen them?
They've been making a big deal on social media about the girl that plays the judge.
Yeah.
And to me, like, every single time I've seen her, it's just been like, are we supposed to care about her? Like, she doesn't
Right.
seem like she's that important.
Right.
So I'm wondering if, like, she is the timekeeper.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that would make sense. She's the only one who kind of speaks for them, and I mean, it almost sounds cult leader.
Oh, it's absolutely cult. Like, just listen to the way that Mobius talks about the sacred timeline.
A lot of people also
Absolutely a cult.
A lot of people also theorizing that a lot of these TVA workers are people who were plucked from a timeline and are trapped, or not trapped, but like they just were kind of brainwashed and forced into servitude of the timekeepers. That's kind of, people are theorizing that's kind of why Mobius is so interested in jet skis. Like, why would that be what you like, unless you were in a timeline where that was important to you? But at the
same time, that one guy doesn't know what a fish is.
I mean,
how do you exist for any amount of time and not know what a fish is?
He was brainwashed, but also the girl who they find, who Loki kidnapped or whatever. She was saying, I want to go home. I want to go home. It's all real. It's all real. Whatever. She was freaking out. A lot of people were like, she wants to go back to her timeline. She realized now that she was, taken out of this. So I don't know. I'm very curious to see where it's going to go. Obviously we'll get more, episodes here soon, but, I'm very excited.
It's very much a WandaVision situation.
Yeah.
Where we are waiting for, that moment where everything clicks, and we're all trying really hard to not hit the Mephisto button.
Right.
They made it. Oh man, they've confirmed. They're like, guys, Mephisto is not in this show.
Right.
And everybody's just like, oh no, you had the.
I don't know about no Mephisto.
I don't know about that. You had a demon up there.
Yeah, there's a demon in that first shot. I don't know. So yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and find out. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be our Chortle Cast for tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I do hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry, it's a little bit shorter, but with me having Ann Baby, I must return to my child and help with his love and care. The child. Oh, I am wearing, I don't know if anyone noticed, I'm wearing my Father's Day gift. It's a Dadalorian shirt. So it's like the Mandalorian logo, but it says Dadalorian. Love it. Been wearing it all day. It's a great time. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games. We talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on YouTube, chortlegames.com. Blah, blah, blah. Here, Kaylin, I'll give you a little view. I'll bring it back up. So, no, I'm on the stream. I'll show my dad.
I was saying just to mention Discord.
Oh yeah, Discord. Thank you. You can join our Discord. Go to chortlegames.com. There's a link there. You can join up. We chat and hang out there all the time. YouTube, chortlegames.com, Twitch, twitch.tv/chortle_games, and then Facebook and Twitter, both at Chortle Games. You can find us there. We will be live streaming this week. Again, not super sure of a schedule. I think I should be able to stream something with you, Steven. It just may have to be a shorter stream, or maybe I can do a solo thing. But we typically do Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. So be sure to tune in for those. But yeah, that's going to do it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching and listening. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.